Good morning, my fellow dear friends. I greet you all. I greet Mazinan, the Karma, Simon Nipa, and our DPM, Dr. Ngozi Rabeze, the woman who Chugo Kariyama used to restore the people of Biafra dignity and their sovereignty. So once again this morning, very quick one. Some areas it might be their midnight, but here is very in the morning. We'll just have maybe 45 minutes to run this program. For you to know that in all we are doing, that Chukwu Kabiam, that Chukwu Kabiam is with us. He can never leave us because He's our Father. So please, as you come, there was in time, please like and share the program so others may join and know that we are live and we are direct this morning. So please, I ask you to do that favor very fast to like and share this program so you others may know that we are live and we are direct. To do justice to us or to support what our DPM said on Saturday, for you to know that between local and international laws, the backwards, she said, so for you to know that your government is on the right track. It is very, very imperative as you join me, please like and share so others may know that we are live as I am taking my 5 minutes out to share to our people for them to know that we are live and we are there this morning. Please like and share the program. It is very, very imperative as you do so. That is only the way you are making this message to go viral, both to our enemies and the haters of their family people. It is very, very important as you do so. Please, my people, join me and share, like, also subscribe to RealBiafraTv. All are inclusive of what we are doing. We must continue without wasting time because why? We are on the right side of what we are doing. It is very, very imperative for us to understand it very well. And it's going to help us to remove the mountain so others may know that what we are doing is not just saying it with mouth, but is about understanding the importance of what we are doing as Biafran people and why is our right under UN Charter, Article 4, Article 2, in Charine of 4. Then that is where support all the whole thing that our government of United States of Biafra is doing. So know it, to know that she's not just come out to come and say what international law did not back up. What she said is what international law back up in what we are doing. So that is why you must support your government at this time, because everything that the government is doing, they are on the right track. Please join me in quick early morning program that we have to run for 45 minutes or 1 hour to educate ourselves and also to understand that our government is doing the right thing. Please enjoy the program as we continue. Do not stay by the side without liking and sharing. So as you come, please like, share the program so everybody may see it. Also, subscribe on RealBiafraTv and like the program. It is very, very imperative. Once again, no time to waste. We must go into Bingos here this morning. You can see the headline. Under international law, what they ask us to do. Now that a nuclear country is being declared, it is a time to leash the army of Biafra on our streets, on our road, to protect the citizens of Biafra. It is a right under international law, UN Charter 2 on bracket 4, that we must protect our land, our citizen, our border with Biafra army. With what? Biafra army. And we must chase Nigeria away in our territory, because after declaration under international law, we have become a sovereign nation without recognition. You will not wait for recognition. We are not going to wait for recognition before we can start chasing our enemies away from our land. No. Once a country is being declared, next thing is to what? To enforce on the journey of protecting and taking care of their borders. This is what international law asks you and I and Biafra government that was officially declared on November 29, 2024. These are important things that we have to do, my fellow Biafrans. It is very, very important. As we do so, and as you are coming this morning, please like, share the program so others may know that we are live this morning and we are direct. Please endeavor to do so. If you do that, may Elohim bless you as we are watching, as we are sharing. Let us listen to this under international law, under sovereignty of a new country. What we have to do, it is very important that we do this. Don't know that we're having a call. Let us know who is on the line this morning first before we move. Maybe there is a vital information to get this morning what we are doing. That's why after this checking of this, we bounce back. People, we have a caller. Who is this saying in the morning? Caller, hold on, please. Yeah, hello?
Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah, please, is this Chino, your brother?
Yes.
Okay, it's me, Diva, his girlfriend.
Okay.
Actually, I called to tell you that your brother...
Why is he arrested? What happened? You think he's been sent to jail? Wow. This one shocked me. Well, I'll get back to you. Let us continue what we're doing. Please, sorry. This is a personal call, but we are here to do the needful. So, we must continue what we're doing. We must continue.
The core international law principle that protects a new government's right to use its army to protect its borders is state sovereignty. This principle is a cornerstone of the modern international system and grants a state supreme authority over its own territory and internal affairs. The right to control and defend one's borders is considered a fundamental aspect of sovereignty. Key principles of state sovereignty. Territorial integrity. This principle, enshrined in Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, requires all member states to refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This essentially means other countries cannot use force to alter a state's borders, and by extension, a state has the right to use force to defend its own borders. Non-intervention. This principle prevents other states from interfering in the internal affairs of a sovereign state. A new government, regardless of how it came to power, is typically considered the legitimate authority to manage its territory. Montevideo Convention. While not universally ratified, this convention is widely recognized as reflecting customary international law. It outlines the criteria for statehood, a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. The convention also asserts that a state has the right to defend its integrity and independence, even before it receives formal recognition from other states. Reconciliation and recognition. A government's lack of reconciliation doesn't strip it of its sovereign rights under international law. While international recognition from other states can strengthen a new country's position and facilitate diplomatic relations, it's generally considered to be a declaratory act, not a constitutive one. This means a new state's legal existence and its rights, like the right to protect its borders, don't depend on other countries' approval. Its existence is a matter of fact, based on the criteria of the Montevideo Convention.
I hope you are listening and you are hearing this. I hope you are listening. We are going to be playing it like what we normally do, stopping it, trying to explain it to every layman understanding this morning. That's why I say we are not going to waste much time in what we are doing. We are doing this particularly because of what our DPM said on Saturday, because enemy we misunderstand it, and they don't know there is a law that supports us as a country that was declared to do what? To enlist our army on the road, because that is only how we are going to secure our land. We are not going to secure the land by the army being inside bush. No, it's a time for them to come. That is why it is very, very important for every state to prepare their army and their police. Think of it when it is happening in all round of Owerri, Old Owerri, happening all around in Old Anambra, happening all around in Old Imo State, happening all around of Asaba, happening all around of all the 40 states of Biafra at the same time. Tell me how Nigeria will stand on it, no matter what happens, no matter how many fighter jets they have. Tell me. And because of Biafra was officially declared, if they're trying to enlist helicopter or any bomb on Biafra land anymore, the international law also is for them. It's things that we all must know at the time we are into right now. I want to know that the government is on the right track on what we are doing. It is very imperative for you to know that. It is very, very imperative. Now listen to this. As I play, I pause. We explain. For you to know that United States of Biafra has become an existing country after official declaration on November 29, 2024. What our DPM said on Saturday before the fundraising, it is a right of the people to use their army to defend themselves and their border and their sovereignty. Once you are declared a country officially, like what we did in Finland, we have become a new state under international law. Don't know that. They all knew that Biafra has been declared and we are a new country. So let us listen, my people.
The core international law principle that protects a new government's right to use its army to protect its borders is state sovereignty.
I hope you get it clearly. The call of international law principle that it protects, the call international law principle that protects a new government right to use its army to protect its borders is a state sovereignty. Now, international law supports us. Why do they support us? Because Biafra has been officially declared. Not even declared, re-declared is our own case here. They understand the predicament that we are into and what we are passing through. Because of they do understand it, that is why the law protects us. They say that the code of international law principle that protects a new government right to use its army to protect its borders is a state sovereignty. It's our right that we, our government, protect our land by any possible means. It is a right. It is justified. What he said on Saturday is what I want you to know this morning. What he said on Saturday is under international law. As we move, you hear it all. Let us continue listening.
This principle is a cornerstone of the modern international system and grants a state supreme authority over its own territory and internal affairs. The right to control and defend one's borders is considered a fundamental aspect of sovereignty. Key principle.
Let's hold it here. This principle, as in all international system, and grant a state supreme authority over its own territory and internal affairs. The law. Forget that the people that put this law for you and I, because of their evil agenda in Africa, in Biafra land, they are shying away from the law. But it doesn't matter. What matters most is that we are on this right track. For those who are calling for Tongozi or Abeze's arrest and doing all those illegal jobs, please, before you back on that your journey, check what he's doing. If international law support, she has the right now, more than Simon Eba, because in her own time, she is the one that declared Biafra. Not that she is the one that declared Biafra. The issue is this, that Biafra has been officially declared. After you officially declared as a country, what next is to seek for international recognition. As you are seeking for this international recognition, you must protect your citizens. You must protect your territory. A state's border is, armed to protect its border is a state sovereignty. The Biafra army that Tongozi asked to come outside, it is a time to come outside. And they are not going to just come to only one state, no. They need to come out from every state one day to showcase their right of protecting the sovereignty of United States of Biafra border and the citizens. They are not going to be inside bush and be doing that anymore. That is why it is a call for them to come outside. And I want them to know, if anything happens to any of those army who comes outside, international law protect them. Even though we might not get in there today because of the time we have, and want to make this program as quickly as just 45 minutes, so others who will listen may pay deep attention to understand why we are doing what we are doing. It is very, very imperative that you understand the level where we are right now. Do not just, when you listen something from Dr. Tongozi, try to check it very well under international law. You will find out. That's why I am making it open for the doubting Thomas, for them to go and check. Now, they say is a fundamental right accepted of sovereignty. Is our fundamental right to protect our border, our internal affair. The right is to control and defend one border is concerned fundamental right of a new government to protect its border. Ichekwa ala Biafra na echukwu ndị uwe ojii ndị Nigeria n'ime, all our rights, international law nke anọ na America wee mebe under UN support ya. That's one thing that we must tell you. I told you, we have to reason, we have to stop reasoning the way we are reasoning before. We need to change some things upstairs for us to adhere and also help the government to make this easy for them. That is why she told you, the level where we are right now is for the army to come outside and stay on the road of Biafra land to chase enemy away, to protect our border, to chase Nigerian government and their instruments away in our land. Now, what is the work of the government? The governments are there to, once anything go against the contrary of the order of the government, they will alert international body. Now we have every power, every right to seek for international support if anything goes wrong in Biafra land. Look at key principle of state sovereignty. Listen, you will hear what I am saying this, so you know that our DPM are following everything under international law and state by state, one step at a time. Listen.
Principles of state sovereignty. Territorial integrity. This principle, enshrined in Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, requires all member states to refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This essentially means other countries cannot use force to alter a state's borders, and by extension, a state has the right to use force to defend its own borders. Non-intervention. This principle prevents other states from interfering in the internal affairs of a sovereign state. A new government, regardless of how it came to power, is typically considered the legitimate authority to manage its territory. Montevideo Convention. While not universally ratified, this convention is widely recognized as reflecting customary international law. It outlines the criteria for statehood: a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. The convention also asserts that a state has the right to defend its integrity and independence, even before it receives formal recognition from other states.
Are you following me? Are you listening very well, my people? Territory integrity. This principle enshrined in Article 2 and 4 of UN Charter require all member states to refrain into their international relationship from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This is not we Biafran people are saying this. This law has been there before us, before we declare Biafra as a new country. It is our right to use force to protect Biafra land this time that we are into, that Biafra has been officially declared. Continue listening. This means other country cannot use force to alert a state border, and by extension, a state has the right to use force to defend its own borders. Why am I telling you this? Because why are we need to seek into this? For you to know that what our DPM said on Saturday is a fundamental right of Biafran people. It is what our fundamental right that we have to adhere towards it. That's why I'm telling you that we can't be inside Oro and Okigwe and also to defend Biafra land. It's not happening anywhere. It's not happening anywhere. The only way it happens is now we have decentralization of Biafra and give every state power to protect its border and sovereignty. What will happen? Now, before they will move, one state will not come out and say today we are protecting our. No. It's going to be over all the Biafra land. One day they all come outside. One day they all come outside and protect the border, the sovereignty of United States of Biafra as a new country. You are not going to wait until you get recognition before you do this. As you officially declared, it's your right to protect your territory, the citizens, the population that's made up of the new country. These are the things that matter so much in what we are doing. Do not mind anybody. Key principle of state sovereignty, territory integrity. This principle enshrined in Article 2 and 4 of the UN Charter. What she said on Saturday, what our DPM said on Saturday, this principle enshrined in Article 2 and 4 of the UN Charter require all member states to refrain in their international relations from the threat of use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of a new state. Now Biafra has become a new state. I want you to understand the level of where we are. This UN Charter, Montevideo Convention, Geneva Convention, all these are in support of what we are doing. I am doing this to explain it to those who are calling OBS and all of them who are calling for Dr. Moses arrest. Nobody will arrest her because Biafra has officially declared. That is what UN Charter Article 2 and 4 is telling us to do, for us to protect, because they know that we are not going to use empty hand to protect the land. And who, on whose duty does it fall to protect the land? Is on the duty of army and police of Biafra. This is where it falls. So that's why we must do everything to support the government of United States of Biafra to make sure that we get everything in between and support the government. If international law support what we are doing, why are we afraid? Why are we not doing it? It's not about Ngozi Oraveze. It's about what international law. It's about the laws that guide us now that we officially declared Biafra. Let us continue. Non-invitation. This principle prevents other states from interfering in the internal affair of a sovereign state. A new government, regardless of how it came to power, a new government, regardless of how it came to power, our government of United States of Biafra, he said, a new government, regardless of how it came to power. Are you following? Regardless of how this government came to power, it is typical considered the legitimate authority to manage its territory. Now that the order has been given to Biafra, and it is a right time to give them that order. Do you know that it is a right time to give them the order to protect and come outside, because you are not going to be inside bush and protecting your integrity, your sovereignty as a new country. Remember this place very well. Sorry, my people. This is under international law that we are reading all this, not Biafra makeup, not Ngozi Oraveze's makeup. The only thing that you must know is that what he is doing and what he said, that international law support us on that. That is the important part of one thing that we all must know. Let's repeat this place again, because it is under it said the principle enshrined in Article 2 and 4 of the UN Charter is what gives us this right. The principle prevents other states from interfering into the internal affairs of a sovereign state. Biafra has become a sovereign state, my people, after our official declaration. And it further says, regardless of how this new government came to power, regardless, look at that word, regardless of how the new government came to power, it is a typical considered the legitimate authority to manage its territory. It is our right of our government. It is our right of our army to come out now we have a new government, to come and do what? Protect Biafra territory and citizens. And no country have to intervene because of lack of law, because of lack of understanding, because of the impunity of Nigerian government. That is why they refuse to understand that Biafra is a sovereign state. Nigerian government right now are standing on a sovereign state of United States of Biafra. And it's a time for them to understand this. But because of their evil agenda, they will not understand it. And because of what they are getting in Biafra land, they cannot gain any other place. They cannot leave. But what will make them to leave, number one, is international law. Diplomatic movement, that is part of it. Now listen to this. Montevideo Convention, why not on universal reflect? This convention is widely recognized as reflecting customary international law. It outlines the criteria for statehood, a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relation with other states. This convention also assists that a new state has the right to defend its territory and independence even before it receives formal recognition from other states. It's not about being social media, it's what we are doing. And what are you listening to? What are you trying to make people to understand? We need to bring these things to every layman understanding, because our people, we must explain before it will get to the ear. Because we have this syndrome of fear and forget, which happens to be number one of our problem. I want you to know that the government is on the right track. Our government, United States of Biafra government, as a new state, as a new country, look at the way they give us the right. They said here, right to defend its integrity and independence, even before it receives official recognition from any state. That is what Ojukwu did in 1967 to 1970. Our people are very, we like to leave important things and doing things that are not very important. But what we are doing right now, everything that you see that's happening, that is so doable. When you come to RealBiafraTv, this is only what you can hear. When you go to Mass Humble Lion, debunking the lies of Adando Ochu and Shiamaka Jebe, Biafra is unite. Go to Kai, everybody has what you represent. So that is why we will not put all our orange in one basket anymore. We must try to educate ourselves for us to know this law. So you know that what Otongozo Rebeze is doing is our right under international law, under customary international law. They said it outlined a criteria for a statehood if we be a country. Number one is a permanent population, a defined territory of 40 states of Biafra, a government of United States of Biafra, and the capacity to enter into election. Who will enter? Not bridge, not fall back, not CRC, not autopilot, not falling deep and falling out. Not them. It's only a government. How did this government came to power? It came to power from official declaration. Official real declaration of United States of Biafra is number one thing and primary thing that we have achieved under international law. They recognize us. Remember here they said, regardless of how this new government came to power, they said it is legitimate authority to manage its territory. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the government has taken over. And for you to prove your government, you must protect the border and defend the citizens under international law, Article 2 and 4 of the UN Charter. That is what gives Dr. Ngozi Orebeze, the Deputy Prime Minister of United States of Biafra, power to call on Biafra army to come out from bushes and come out on the street. They must prepare themselves for them to come out and do the needful. International support them fully. International law, Montevideo Convention 1933 support them. Geneva Convention 1949 support them. UN Charter, not only this article, Article 43, 44, 45, support. Go and verify what I'm telling you. I'm not just quoting. Look at from where I am reading it this morning so you can see. This is a research. It's a matter of a research. You will get whatever that these governments are doing now. After listening to her on Saturday, I take my time to locate what he says under international law, and I find it. And I can beat up my head and said, yes, the governments are doing the right thing on the right track. This is not, it's not about Ngozi Orebeze. It's about United Nations Charter. It's about Montevideo Convention. It's about Geneva Convention. These are laws that support what we are doing, my people. Do not be deceived. It's no longer the way we think about it. It's we are going to think it in the way international law sees what we are doing, because they are the backup of every state, both new and old. These are the things that we all must understand. These are the things we'll be thinking. So when you are supporting your government, giving you a fund, supporting the fundraising, you will know why you are funding the government and why we have to come more and fund the government, because there is plenty big job to do, plenty works to do. You know, we're not going to focus, we're not going to do Shemefo. When he was here, the arrested Mazan Khan in the first place, he focused on all on his release. And everything was just like that. Or the Mazan Khan comes out. Now it's time to add on multiple dimensions. We are going to be talking about philanthropism and Simon Hema. We also are going to be talking about our border, protecting it, and our sovereignty. We're also going to be doing everything possible for us to get recognition officially. But what will give you morale in what we are doing this morning is what they said. Regardless of how this government come to power, it's typical consider the legitimate authority to manage its border. I hope you are following me very well, so you to understand what I am doing here this morning as we all try to understand it. And look at what they said again under Montevideo Convention. It said the convention also protects the state that has its right to defend its integrity and independence, even before it receives official recognition from other states. When we have, not that we have never received any official recognition from any state, both from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, it doesn't stop us from protecting our land. That is why we are a state. That is why we was a state. Recognition will come, but how can recognition come and who will get recognized? A new country, not bridge, not fall back. You had it here. That it doesn't matter how a new government of a new state come to power, that what matters most under international law is how they can protect their land, their sovereignty of the state. The sovereignty is what makes them a state. Our declaration, our real declaration is number one thing that are very important in what we are doing. I want you to know that and know it clearly. That is not organization anymore. It's not IPOB, one Nigeria, they are going to organize. Nobody will give us recognition because we are in IPOB. No. Under international law, no. Under Montevideo Convention, no. Under the Geneva Convention, no. This is a three more important, powerful body that supports us as United States of Biafra in what we are doing this time around. That is why you have to reason like someone who understands international law. Remember, they said that the government must use media to prove to the world how prepared we are. That is why it's no longer a time of woto. It's no longer a time of cock and bull stories. It's no longer a time to think that this is the way in our own time, this is how we think supposed to do it. No, every thinking must adhere to international law, what they ask us to do as a new nation with a new government that's trying to protect its integrity, sovereignty, and the citizens of the land. It is very important. It is very, very important. Now, going forward, I want to read this particular place so it can be reflected in your mind. Do not use syndrome of hear and forget here. Do not use it anymore. Montevideo Convention will not willingly not unveil ratified. This convention is widely recognized as reflecting a customary international law. It outlines the criteria for statehood, a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relationship with other states. That is why here, under here, you know that know how bridge or fall back will get us recognition. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in that way. It only has one straight way it works for us to get recognition. Which way is that? It's a way of being after official declaration. After our declaration in Helsinki, that is Finland. That is why Simon Eber, who knows all these laws, understand the importance of declaration. It gives you a right to become a state. And remember, they said a state recognizes a state, a group recognizes a group. Do you know why UN cannot do recognition direct? They are a group. It's a country, state that gathers and made up of UN to implement all these laws. That is why it's under every state to give us recognition as a new state. There was a time every country in the world was a new state. In 1770 something, America was a new state. In 1970, a lot of them, there was a time all are a new state, even Finland. All these things becomes a new state. There was a time, Germany was a new state. India was a new state. Bangladesh was a new state. Every country in Africa, there was a time they are all a new state. They did not fall from heaven. People prepare for it, work towards it, and they achieve it. They become what? A new state. This is message that we all must adhere towards it. Support your government, fund the government, they are on the right track. Forget any other group does not exist after official declaration. After our declaration in Helsinki, Finland, we have passed step 5. That is what official declaration help you to achieve. This is what official declaration help us to do. Now, gaining recognition. Listen to this.
Reconciliation and recognition. A government's lack of reconciliation doesn't strip it of its sovereign rights under international law. While international recognition from other states can strengthen a new country's position and facilitate diplomatic relations, it's generally considered to be a declaratory act, not a constitutive one. This means a new state's legal existence and its rights, like the right to protect its borders, don't depend on other countries' approval. Its existence is a matter of fact, based on the criteria of the Montevideo Convention.
I hope my fellow Biafrans are listening. Reconciliation and recognition. A government lack of recognition does not strip it of sovereignty rights under international law. Because of people, hey, you declare it now, you said you're a country, but nobody recognizes you and you don't have currency, you're using Nigerian money. All these things are words to just bring your mind down. All these things are words to bring your mind down. I want you to know that. Look at how they say it here. A government lack of recognition does not strip it of a government lack of recognition does not strip it of its sovereign rights under international law. While international law recognition from other states can strengthen a new country position, not a new bridge, not a new fallback, not a new IPOB, not a new autopilot, not a new fallback for deep. No. It's all about what a new country that officially declared what we did on November 29, 2024. This is the key number one important step. If you are not a country, nobody recognizes you. That is why, have you asked yourself, for over all these years, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is agitating, why religion did not come under IPOB? Why? Why no official country who recognize IPOB as a state? Do you know why? Because they did not declare themselves a state. They see themselves as organization. They see themselves as a group. That is how international law see it. International law only come to support a new country who are facing a lot of challenges. Who are facing a lot of challenges. That is the people that international law will come to support. I want you to know it clearly. I want you to understand this very well. It's not about fallback. It's not about bridge anymore. That is not about to be used 1 year to prepare for declaration. That is why you ask yourself, why did he focus on declaration before they took him away? Why did he focus on declaration? Because declaration makes you a sovereign state and it gives you a right under international law. While international recognition from other states can strengthen a new country position and facilitate diplomatic relations. What will facilitate it is what? That you are a new country. Then other states giving us recognition is to strengthen us with political facilities and strengthen us to diplomatic relationships under UN Charter. Remember that we are handling UN Charter Article 2 and 4 this morning. What gives us right? Give Dr. Ngozi Orebeze as the Deputy Prime Minister, as the leader of Biafra, of United States of Biafra, as a president or whatever you can call it. This is what gives us right to leash our army on the street of Biafra, not inside the bush anymore, because we are a sovereign state that must protect our border and our integrity, with also a population of our people in the homeland. This is what it is. Do not be deceived anymore. That is why we are bringing you all this, so you may know and you may understand it. This is what the law is telling you and I, that it is our right to do what? To protect the citizens of Biafra with Biafra army. Because when a country is officially declared, you are no longer on liberation army. We are no longer on liberation phase. We are in the phase to protect our integrity, our borders and citizens. And who will do that? A new country government that officially declared as a new state. And we have done that. Why are you confused? Why are you deceiving people? Because you want money. I am sorry for you. Because repercussion of what you are doing will come at last. Had I know comes at last. It's no time of that thing is Chiamaka Jerry doing. Okay, and any other group who said they are fighting for Biafra without official declaration. It doesn't exist. Nobody will give recognition anywhere in the world. When you see them doing fundraising for them to go and see recognition, they are deceiving you. Nobody will look at them. Nobody will look at them because they are not a state. They are not a new country. They are not officially declared. These are the criteria that the government has met under all the international bodies law. When I mentioned, I told you we have Montevideo Convention, we have Geneva Convention. Go and research through all these things. Don't stop being a doubting Thomas. Stop being deceived. This is 21st century where everything is with you, where you can find it out. When a white man wants to hide the truth, they bring the documents and they will hide it because you want quick action. You will not go and research. You want to come to social media, say it the way you think about it in your own way. After saying it, ask yourself, which law support what you are saying? That is why I told you, majority of things that we are going to do this time around must be things that the law support. We must educate ourselves. We must know it very well that now we are in the government, that the Biafra has been officially declared. It's not like the way you think about it before. So I want you to know that everything that we are doing, it is our right. It is our inalienable right to defend our territory, our citizens, and as a sovereign state. Do you understand it very well? I hope we are making common sense. I hope you are understanding what I am doing this morning. Now let us go on because of our time. Listen to this. Not a constitutive one. This means that a new state's legal existence and its right, like the right to protect its border, does not depend on the current approval. It is existing. It's a matter of fact based on the criteria of Montevideo Convention. Like those who are, you declared Biafra, you are still in exile, your government is not in the homeland. Once you declare a country, it has come to existence in the eyes of international law. And other countries know. They might wait there because you are not going to force them to recognize you. They will see how you operate your government. They will see one or two things you are doing before they will give you that recognition. Look at it, Montevideo Convention is said that with only official declaration that we did on November 29, 2024, that we have become an existing country. It's approval under international law. UN Charter, Article 43 approves this. Why I am mentioning those articles or where I'm getting this from is for those doubters that must, for them to go and research and stop deceiving our people. You who are on social media deceiving our people will pay dearly. You will pay for all the consequences. The consequences of what you are doing will come upon you. That is why it is the right time for us to understand what we are into, how the government is being run, and how a new country is being handled. Do we have a right as a new country to defend our border? The answer is yes. Do we have a right to use our army to chase the Nigerian government in our land? The answer is yes. Do we have a right as a state to decide what we want in our territories? The answer is yes. So when you look at all this that I'm reading, that I'm bringing out to you, you may understand why it is very, very imperative for us to know that now we are a new state, my people. Please endeavor to share this program. When you come across of it, you can only handle it like so. You may listen and listen again, but listen as the video, as the UN Charter Article 2 and 4 is plain. Listen to what they said for you to understand it more. I have done a little bit explanation on it. We will continue when I come back from work. I want you to know that everything we are doing is in the hands of Chukwuka Abịam and also in the hands of this international law. Chukwuka Abịam will not fall from heaven and defend our land. We are going to use our army. Now that the government has mandated and give you order to come, please do not hesitate. Prepare yourself. Come outside with equipment. You are not going to come with empty hand. Once army is involved, they said that the government will use his army to protect its border and integrity as a sovereign state. That is one thing that you must know. Listen to this as we move, my people. Thank you so much for coming this morning.
The core international law principle that protects a new government's right to use its army to protect its borders is state sovereignty. This principle is a cornerstone of the modern international system and grants a state supreme authority over its own territory and internal affairs. The right to control and defend one's borders is considered a fundamental aspect of sovereignty. Key principles of state sovereignty. Territorial integrity. This principle, enshrined in Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, requires all member states to refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This essentially means other countries cannot use force to alter a state's borders, and by extension, a state has the right to use force to defend its own borders. Non-intervention. This principle prevents other states from interfering in the internal affairs of the sovereign state. A new government, regardless of how it came to power, is typically considered the legitimate authority to manage its territory. Montevideo Convention. While not universally ratified, this convention is widely recognized as reflecting customary international law. It outlines the criteria for statehood: a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. The convention also asserts that a state has the right to defend its integrity and independence, even before it receives formal recognition from other states. Reconciliation and recognition. A government's lack of reconciliation doesn't strip it of its sovereign rights under international law. While international recognition from other states can strengthen a new country's position and facilitate diplomatic relations, it's generally considered to be a declaratory act, not a constitutive one. This means a new state's legal existence and its rights, like the right to protect its borders, don't depend on other countries' approval. Its existence is a matter of fact, based on the criteria of the Montevideo Convention. The core international law principle that protects a new government's right to use its army to protect its borders is state sovereignty. This principle is a cornerstone of the modern international system and grants a state supreme authority over its own territory and internal affairs. The right to control and defend one's borders is considered a fundamental aspect of sovereignty. Key principles of state sovereignty. Territorial integrity. This principle, enshrined in Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, requires all member states to refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This essentially means other countries cannot use force to alter a state's borders, and by extension, a state has the right to use force to defend its own borders. Non-intervention. This principle prevents other states from interfering in the internal affairs of a sovereign state. A new government, regardless of how it came to power, is typically considered the legitimate authority to manage its territory. Montevideo Convention. While not universally ratified, this convention is widely recognized as reflecting customary international law. It outlines the criteria for statehood: a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. The convention also asserts that a state has the right to defend its integrity and independence, even before it receives formal recognition from other states. Reconciliation and recognition. A government's lack of reconciliation doesn't strip it of its sovereign rights under international law. While international recognition from other states can strengthen a new country's position and facilitate diplomatic relations, it's generally considered to be a declaratory act, not a constitutive one. This means a new state's legal existence and its right, like the right to protect its borders, don't depend on other countries' approval. Its existence is a matter of fact, based on the criteria of the Montevideo Convention.